Hey class, welcome to Module 3, Week 3. We're going to be covering Chapters 3, 4, and 9, and we're going to be talking about operating activities, or basically the income statement. So I really like this, the operating activities, the income statement. There's a whole lot of value in it. As I mentioned here in the write-up, that with the balance sheets for a single snapshot in time, income statement covers the whole operating period, so it's a greater amount of time. It's less subject to manipulation, and it's really it's a view of how successful the company has been in terms of generating revenue and the costs that it incurs in generating that revenue. So here I've got two quick graphs of two different companies, and really graphs will tell you a lot. And in valuation, you typically like to see a predictable trend, and when there's greater volatility, or when there's greater variability in terms of standard deviation, then that means it's less predictable, and it's a little bit harder to value. So looking at company A and B, I would say, so company A we've got some levels of revenue that are a little bit higher, but it's more volatile. So we're lower here, high, low, then we go higher, and then now we're tanking back down here, whereas opposed to company B, we're lower overall in terms of total revenue, but we're steadily increasing over time, which makes the future more predictable, which in turn also makes the valuation method more reliable. So yeah, I would pick, if I were an investor choosing, I would pick company B. But preferences aside, I would just say that in terms of valuation models and accuracy, this would be preferable, company B. All right. Also, so the other main topic this week is going to be talking about normalization adjustments. Now, as a valuation analyst, what you're trying to do is you're trying to look at the historical performance of a company and you want to compare it to other like companies. But in order to do that, you have to make adjustments in order to normalize it to make it comparable to those other companies. So if your company is experiencing these one-time events, such as a natural disaster, or if there's a huge data breach which causes some sort of impairment in goodwill, or there's a huge sale of an asset, these one-time events, they could either show up as a huge inflow of cash one year, or they could show up as a major expense one year. But if it's a one-time thing and it's not part of normal business operations, then you really want to consider adjusting that off or removing it from the equation and then valuing the company afterwards. So the graphic here shows that we start with net income, and you'll see later in the course we'll actually project net income in the future years, and then we'll discount it to present value. But before we do that, we make these normalization adjustments for any sort of major event that has happened that really should not be considered part of the analysis, and that gets you to normalized income. So that's a brief overview for the week. Let me know if you have any questions this week. Make sure you read the text and then turn in milestone 2. Let me know if you have questions.